Love me two times, baby. Love me twice today. Love me two times, girl. Love me two times, girl. One for tomorrow, one just for today. Love me two times, I'm gone away. Love me one time.
Good morning. Today is the 23rd of December, Wednesday. So this will be my last recording before Christmas. I started my recording pretty much right from the get-go today. Hi there. Same to you. And your dog. That woman I used to see all summer long walking her little Scotty dog at Lambrick Park. She does a little bit of running too. She walks her dog mostly every day at Lambrick. I used to see her when I ran with my buddy Derek. I am at the moment listening to Jim and his podcast, but I'm going to have to stop and catch up with him later, mainly because I'm having a little bit of trouble concentrating on what I'm saying, because I'm listening to what he's saying. But let me just do that now. Hang on. Okay, so that's better. Now I can channel my thoughts a little better. Still waiting for the euphoria to kick in, and I'm expecting it to happen once I hit the forest. Still warm from being indoors, gradually cooling off with a blustery wind, only to soon be warming up from my efforts. I mapped this run out before I left, just to reassure myself that I will be getting about 5 miles today, which will give me enough time to record pretty much without stopping one regular length show. I will probably pause it a little bit on the noisier bits, some of those road crossings that I have to make. But now that I use a slightly different route, I don't have to do that little section of ash where I always used to mention all the cars that I ran by, or that ran by me, drove by me. Hello. The guy almost ran into me. He had his head down and he was running straight towards me. Thank you. On my side of the road. Since I spoke to you last, my son arrived from Washington, taking his Christmas break from Google. I'm going to hit the woods as soon as I can today. Hello. Turning right onto Robinwood. He has been instrumental in my technology and in my knowledge of my technology. He's now convinced me to use Google Photo to save my pictures. I just heard the 1 kilometer mark, right where I expected it. I think I know this girl. Merry Christmas. I think I know this dog.
Teddy.
Teddy.
Yeah.
Hi, Teddy. Does he have a friend called Randy?
Yes.
I'm Carlos.
Yeah. Yes, I remember you.
I saw you at the Great Walk.
Yes.
One year he did it.
Yeah.
And I also remember that day you had some salmon. Some smoked salmon. And after we ran, we ate smoked salmon together.
I don't remember the smoked
Oh,
salmon.
that was...
I remember soup.
You remember the soup?
I remember soup.
I remember the salmon.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like something I would do. Anyway, Merry Christmas.
Same to you. Yeah. She was a little reluctant to talk to me because I believe they are going through a divorce at the moment. I knew this because when I bought these shoes, my new trail shoes, Randy was at the store. He works there part-time, selling running shoes and helping with the running clinics. What was I saying? Oh yeah, technology. Google Photos. This morning I got a notification. They had put together a little slideshow for me of all the pictures that they had from my various cameras. Pictures from iPhoto. Amazing. But I was telling C2, my son, that I really didn't want to clog up my computer with a lot of pictures that I would never really look at again. And he said that they're stored on the Google servers. They're not actually stored on your device, which makes a lot of sense. Google, as you probably know, I'm just crossing the Weir. Google, as you probably know, own YouTube, and they give YouTube subscribers unlimited storage space, which must be in the region of terabytes of data by now. Multiple terabytes of data. As long as it's not clogging up my hard drive, I'm happy. I'm bundled up today, like you wouldn't believe. That's weird. I just saw what looked like a striped squirrel. It had black and white distinct markings, not as distinct as a raccoon's tail, but almost. It is probably a crossbred offspring of a black and a grey squirrel. Okay, just crossing Shelbourne Street and Cordova Bay Road at Church Hill. So now I am truly on the mountain trails. You can probably tell by the change of sound of my footfall. I'm hoping that my batteries last. Norman had a bit of an issue last week with his batteries on his Sony dying. It's amazing how many hours of recording you can get from 2 AAA cells. But they do eventually run out. That is another reason I started my recording on my street, just so that I could get as much in on this run as possible. I think the colder weather has something to do with battery life, or it affects, I should say, battery duration. I still have 1 stripe on my battery level indicator, which should be enough, come to think of it. For me, running this trail is like, for a lot of people, walking to the post office. It's something that they do quite often. They don't have to measure it. I do have my GPS tracker on, but what I forgot was that even though the glories of audio are such that you do paint a soundscape for yourselves, I am still seeing exactly the same trails, which in a way makes it easier for me to get a little more tangential with my thoughts, because I'm not being distracted too much by novelty. you might well be running as you listen to this, so you may be generating your own visuals as you go. Coming across yet another active family. One kid on the back, one kid by the hand, two parents. Hello. Thank you. Merry Christmas. No, nothing. Not a word. Yeah, Jim's show. I'm about 10 minutes into it. And as you know, I had to pause it. Another interesting development that happened since C2, my tech-savvy son, arrived, is that I bought myself a new computer, which I know is a major expense for me, the man who claims he buys nothing but shoes and food. I started to analyze my spending and realized that for the amount of pleasure that I get from recording video and audio for you guys, I might as well invest $1,000 in a more up-to-date computer. If any of you have recently bought a computer, you probably will sympathize with the setup procedure. The Mac is pretty intuitive, but I really did appreciate having somebody who was fast on the keyboard and knew basically what I wanted of my machine. For me, a computer, a well-functioning computer, let's put it this way, is like a carpenter buying himself a new plane. Don't ask me to spell that one. I think it's P-L-A-I-N. Both spellings would work in Lexulus as real words. It's funny how we adopt each other's mannerisms. I'm not sure who started the "is that a real word?" if that is even a real word. I think it was Norman, and I reinforced it. Jim's used it a few times. I even thought I heard Kevin say it. Mind you, Kevin has his own mannerisms. One is his opening phrase is, "How you all doing, huh?" Now that is a good one. I don't think I've used it more than once in the last 2 weeks. Mine, probably from having worked with a Sony voice recorder for 2 years, normally starts with, "So, we're now running on Whittaker." because that is how I used to work my pause button. It would be like chapter headings, the word so. I listened to the Extra Mile podcast yesterday with great enjoyment, hearing what will probably be the last roundup of podcasts on the Jeff Galloway. As Kevin so aptly put it in his show notes, how the event has entered into the rearview mirror of his mind. But he kept it close enough to the front to come up with an admirable report. Kevin spoke more today than almost anyone on the Extra Mile show. Mind you, he did have a few longer submissions, which made with his longer submission a longer show altogether, but I believe he was combining Jeff Galloway and Christmas on the same show. But like what I'm doing here, I'm combining a Wednesday run with my Christmas show. As I turn away from the noise of Cordova Bay Road, I'm now heading into the depths of Mount Douglas Park Forest. This is where I run again until I get to near the fake bridges. Hello. Hi. This is where I recorded the Lost Dog episode. I have a dog that has adopted me temporarily. As I start to run again. I never did find out if he ever found the two other dogs that went missing. That's my little friend again. He is obviously as familiar with this trail as I am. His master was not calling him back. I'm now suffering a little bit from overeating as I hike up to the last section before the fake bridges. I'm going to pause this thing again and derobe a little bit. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm putting on the lock on the device now. I have bared my neck from the nice blue neck warmer that I was wearing the other day. Now I'm looking for some carotid cooling. Another show that I caught up with just today, actually, was Ron's 123 update. Ron's update, episode 123. Now, that man has been going at this game way longer than almost everybody I've mentioned today, other than Kevin. And although I haven't mentioned Nigel, he is springing to mind. It's been a year since we've heard from him. Apparently he is well. Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, hey, Carlos.
Hi. He's an ultra runner. I saw him on the golf course in this early summer when he was training the last few runs before the Sun Peaks 50 miler, which I believe he completed. I'm at the Whittaker Creek Junction now. If ever any of you guys want to come and be on my podcast, you're more than welcome. I will be the guided tour for you. I will show you all these places that you are now probably quite familiar with acoustically, and some of the brief videos that I've made. Well, the one nice thing about having a computer savvy son is that my computer is now running beautifully, and all the relevant updates have been installed, and I'm now running on a Mac operating system called El Capitan, which means the captain. The computer that I ended up choosing was an 11-inch MacBook Air, which I bought for two reasons. One, because it is not quite cutting edge anymore, because the tablets seem to have taken that market away from the regular laptop. But it does have two very important features. One, it's up to date with all the new systems that my other computer wouldn't let me use. And secondly, it has a USB port, one of the last of the computers to still have a USB port, I should say, which means that I can upload my voice recordings and edit using GarageBand. I think Normie has a MacBook Air, possibly a 13-inch version of what I've got. But I'm fully expecting this one to last me 5 years, which works out at about under, see if I can get this right, let's say it cost me $1,000, and a 5 years would be $200 a year invested in up-to-date technology. It's not too much. By the time I replace this computer, I will be almost 70, which is still younger than Ron. He definitely is a switched on senior. He must have been one of the earlier adopters of all this technology. At the moment, I think he's semi-retired. He works part-time on a golf course as well, which is a job that I would like to have. Either that or Randy's job in a running store selling running shoes. I know this guy too. Hello again.
Hello, how are you today?
Very well. I see you about 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Normally on Glendenning.
Yeah, well, I'm working my way up here slowly.
Do you always do the same route?
No, I do this one twice a week, and then the other times I just go up there on the top and stuff. And down.
And is this your pooch?
Nope.
No.
It's Loretta's
Mine.
pooch.
It's Loretta's pooch. Okay, well, Merry
used to-
Christmas.
In 10 days.
Merry Christmas to both of
I
you.
used to have one, but he died last November.
Sad.
He was,
I have a
he was
cat.
16 and a half. So.
I have a cat, but no dogs in my life.
Yeah?
I see a lot of dogs as a runner. You'd imagine I
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, you seem to be hell-bent on staying healthy.
Well, I've retired now, so I really don't want to sit on the couch all day wondering what happened. I'd rather be out there.
Yeah, me too.
All right, well, have a great one.
Yeah, you too. Have a good Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yep. I knew I would get a friendly response out of him. I don't think he knows that he's going to be listened to by thousands of people. Maybe not thousands. Getting back to the podcast numbers, I ended up posting my unedited version of last Wednesday's show, and I think I probably released the unedited version too soon after the original Groundhog Trails episode, as I think I had 6 or 8 hits on the short version, and I think I'm up to 22 on the longer version, so rather than have a duplication, I deleted the shorter version. And the shorter version was basically shortened because I was talking over the videos that I was filming for that little promo that I did. I figured if I'm going to take something out, it might well be something that they're going to hear in the video anyway. So that's what I did. But obviously, not everybody had heard the Groundhog episode, so I deleted it once the other one overtook the first. I'm just going to be hiking past a couple of women who are just going to get to the saddle before me. But at this stage it's a hike for everybody but the mountain goats. Hi. I was just saying this is a hike for everybody except mountain goats. Hopefully I'm going to be running on the downside.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a river running down here.
There is, yeah. It turns into Whitaker Creek.
Where's Whitaker Creek?
Yeah. Well, this is Whitaker Trail.
Oh, got
So
it.
it becomes a creek bed
Great.
in the winter. But only if there's enough rain.
Yeah.
If the water table is too low, the water stays below the surface. All right, this is where I leave you girls.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Sprint past.
Sprint. My sprinting days
Bark at you.
are over. Hello, doggy. Go back, Arnold. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Yeah. That's what I like about Victoria. So many active people, and most of them are in that semi-retired age group, 50 to 70. So from here, it is downhill past the cave. And then I loop around back on Whitaker and come off where I started. This route is going to look like the key from a sardine can. And if you guys remember those keys for opening sardine cans, I think most of them are now ring pulls. A little bit of an acoustic thing for you here. Hello, hello. Hi, hi, hi. This is the cave. And those ladies are catching up with me. Not actually catching up with me, but I don't want Arnold to think that I'm part of their group. And I'll end up having to send Arnold packing. So I should actually keep some kind of register of all these dogs' names that I see. These people that I recognize via their dogs. Well, I recognize them by the most important feature in my particular world at that moment. If I'm running trails and I see a dog off leash, then the dog is way more of an issue than meeting the people. So I try and remember my protocol for dealing with dogs. Just coming up to the glory zone where I will run down Whitaker into Glendenning and then swing around back onto Whitaker and then all the way back to the crosswalk at Cedar Hill Road and Cordova Bay Road and Shelbourne Street. There's like a 3-road junction as the 3 routes meet to go round the outside of Mount Douglas between the mountain and the ocean. That is quite often where I switch off my recordings when I do Lochside Trail, because to get to Lochside I have to run the gauntlet of that stretch of road. So, as we get into this full flow mode of my, what is it he calls it? Phonations. That's right. I can well and truly announce that I am happy running downhill in the glory zone at 5 kilometers. The only thing I don't have going today is my pace reminders, and that's okay. I'm hoping to get back to that crosswalk that I mentioned before I switch off the recording. That will probably give me 50 minutes straight without any additional pauses. I think I might have paused a couple of times today just to disrobe a little bit, but now I'm running at a comfortable, cool pace, especially downhill, so that my little heart is not trying to beat out of my chest, and I have enough oxygen and lung capacity to continue to phonate. Hi. I already run past the junction that I normally take to get onto Harvest Lane, because today I'm looking for 8 kilometers and I'm now up to 5. So I really don't need to take the shortest route. I have to add a little bit of time for when I was talking to my friends today, because, as you know, the recorder was still rolling. I will try not to say so again. I remember this trail only too well as the trail where I tripped and fell heavily on my hand, and I believe that is where I messed up my voice recorder.
Hi again.
Do you have a second?
Of course.
How was your run at Sun Peaks?
Sun Mountain?
Sun Mountain, that's right.
It went well.
What was it, 50 miles?
Yeah, I had some stomach trouble. What it meant is I paced myself really well.
Good.
I was slower than one, but my leg felt great.
So did you finish the whole...
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can walk fast. So.
50 miles, was it?
Yeah, and then gorge 100K in 3 months.
Is that what you're training for now?
Yeah. Small steps.
Good for you. What about your friend? Did she go with you?
Lisa?
Yes.
Yeah, she did the 50K, and she did really well.
At Sun Mountain?
Yeah, I think that was her first 50K.
I believe so. I saw you on the golf course that day.
Yeah, at
Just
Cedar Hill.
before you went.
Yeah, so that was her first 50K, and she did really well.
Okay.
And then she's done Deception Pass a couple weeks ago, and
I remember that one.
now she signed up for for Big Dog 50 miler.
Oh. It's too far to go for me.
Yeah.
All the way to Edmonton, isn't it? Edmonton or
No,
Lethbridge?
Big Dog is Princeton. It's in Manning Park.
Oh, okay. I think
There's 120 and
there's
70.
Fat Dog. And then
Fat Dog, sorry. That's what it is, Fat Dog.
Fat Dog. Okay. Anyway, I better get going. Merry
Yeah,
Christmas.
how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm not training for any races anymore. My theory is
That's okay.
to run until I'm 90. So I have a long-term
Well, it's a
plan.
good first step. And then
Carry
you set
on
the
to
new goal.
100.
Yeah.
But it doesn't involve racing anymore.
I don't know, if I figure I see the way Mo runs at 72.
But he's my role model for the moment.
And I've seen you running with a blind fellow as well sometimes.
Yeah. All right, well, I better get back
Anyway,
at it.
yeah, have a good run. Good to see you, Carl.
See ya. Well, that is another reason I don't switch off my recorder too often. I did lower my hand a little bit, just from the running position to the standing position, but I'm sure that he came out quite clearly. Hello, people. Thank you.
Hold him.
Good puppy.
Yeah.
Hold him. Yeah, you just don't want to hear them say sink 'em. Hello. 3 dogs today.
Yeah, we got them all.
You got them all. They're just about to meet the puppy. Well, I haven't said so yet, other than then. Just trying to think of a way of saying goodbye to you without saying that 2-letter word. Yeah, I think I've got a closing phrase. This is indeed the running jackal, running out of the park on the 23rd of December. May the festivities officially begin for you all, for those of you who still have one more shift. Hi. There's the dog. For those who still have one more shift, may it be a pleasant one. May you all get back to work as soon as you've had your rest for the festive season. I've just heard the 6 kilometers, so I'm pretty sure I will get. I said so. Sorry. Bye-bye.